Okay, rollover jig part 2 today. I've been waiting a week for a parcel from a mate, but Royal Mail decided not to deliver it for over a week. It had these tubes in that I was going to use for the rollover jig. Last night I got a bit tired of waiting for Royal Mail, so I went on the scavenge in the scrap bin outside and found some big boys like this. We got 2 of these each, and I think I'm actually going to make it out of there, which is a bit frustrating because I haven't got anything done in the car all week, and now I'm going to use something that's been outside all week anyway. So let's pop the subframes off first. I've got a little nut gun, but so these came with the car and I didn't know they were dog shit until I replaced them. But if anyone wants them, let me know. What do you reckon? Off without damaging anything? Yeah. Done. Other side. Got bad memories in this wheel arch. Last time I went to Germany, drove all the way there, did 1 lap, most of which behind a Audi A1. And then the next day, the track was shut, so we just stayed in a basement somewhere. And then the next day, came out excited to do loads of laps. Went under here to adjust the damping at the bottom. I'd just driven all the way with it wound out, and it was just caked with CV grease all the way around. I don't know if you tried to get in a CV boot for an R32 GTR at the Nürburgring before, but it doesn't go very well. So I just cut my losses and drove all the way home. Differential metal banter there. These torques that they put on the IKEA formula arms are absolute comedy, like to the point where you just don't, no one's got a torque wrench that goes up to like 300 newton meters. Apart from that Japanese geezer on that calsonic photo, I suppose, that like 8-foot torque wrench. I think that photo is probably one of the reasons I'm doing this. The irony is I won't be able to afford centre locks. I think that's everything from under here. All these are done from the top. Just 4 bolts, these rear ones I think. So they should come off easy. It's quite good to be getting on with this. It's really easy. When you're kind of waiting on a bit of material or something and you've got a load of Western cider in the fridge at home, it's really easy just to go, oh well, I can't do anything, and go home. They get absolute. So to carry on doing all these little bits that do actually need doing, but I'm pretty impressed with myself really. Does anyone else drink Westerns? It's pretty severe stuff. You want the proper A+, that's where it's at. I think they put something illegal in it. There is a reason why this subframe's teal. It's because it's off a mate and he painted everything teal underneath his car. Okay, so we're all ready to do the fabrication work now on the tubey bits. There was a few. I've been stressing about where the pivot point is, so I was worried I was going to get it on the actual stand, and then once it's on the stand it would just automatically flip on its side. And been a couple of really helpful people that have kind of shown me. One chap had a R32 on a jig, another one had an R33 on a jig. I think it'll be alright where it is, so I think I'm going to stick where I am. I can try and do stuff if not. I even thought about like counterweighting it or something. We'll vibe it out. It's all about vibing it out these days anyway. First job, middle of this guy to be 1050 once it's mounted there. I'll probably have it like there. But the first job, let's mark that, cut it and scallop it. Since it's all about getting these guys straight, I thought I'd do all the work up here, and then maybe I'll put one of these long tubes through both of them whilst they're like this far away from each other. It's alright. Big boy though, isn't it? Hotter than Ibiza today. One of those days. Right, we'll do the other one. I don't think this needs to be super accurate, as long as it's level. I'm not going to race the jig, am I? I'm going to race the car. Be alright, it'll be alright. I need to clean it, don't I? Get the old flappy boy out again. The only thing I was worried about, and why I knew this was kind of outside, but I didn't want to use it, is that the wall thickness of these is really big. So it's 5mm wall. But I think it'll be alright. The welder goes up to 11, so I'll just run it at 11 and it'll be alright on it. Should we do another welder sequence? Let's do another welder sequence. The welder's turned right down to do the tack. If you try and do a really hot, big tack, whatever you do clamping wise, it will pull it out the way. So if you do a load of kind of coldish tacks, it just seems to hold it a bit more in position. I might be wrong. Alright, cold tack's on. It's pretty good, I think. We can get to work on cutting the inside pipe for these bits now, I think. I'll try and explain what I'm going to do with the back. I've got these big tubes now, and the reason I liked them is because I was hoping I could do something like this anyway. So because it's bigger, I thought it'd be good, because rather than just wanging it straight on the side there, and then you've got one weld joint in single shear, I can cut it out so the box section is going to kind of sit down into it, and then I can weld all the way around it. I could even put a plate on the back, but I won't, because I can't be bothered. In terms of getting it straight, I suspect I'll probably just rest my iPhone on it and pretend that that's okay. People are always saying, oh, you have to make sure it's dead straight. It's not like it's on needle roller bearings or anything. It's just a bit of tube in another tube that kind of fit all right. Anyway, we'll see. We'll learn, won't we? I'll let you know if you can't do it at the end. I do worry about things like this a bit too much. I think I like to know things, capabilities, whereas it's probably got a safety factor of about 50 on this at the moment. I'd quite like to break it afterwards to see how much it would hold. My mate's got a CUDA, maybe you could put that on it and see if it breaks. What do you reckon? I reckon that's a good idea. Good fit, that. Fits, guys. You just have to take my word for it. Looks great. I think I'm going to go home now because it's late and I've got that Westerns in the fridge. But it is late, I can justify it. I'll catch you in the morning, and then this thing is going to, well, it's not going to stay where it is. Something's going to happen to it. I'd like it to go on stand and turn 90 degrees, but we'll see. Whatever will be, will be. Morning, everyone. Before I left last night, I just got a tape measure and just checked the height of the top of this and the top of the back one. They're the same height off the ground, which is where these are going to be, so that makes sense, right? I've chucked these on. The back one was 0 degrees and this front one was 1 degree, and I tapped it once with a hammer and now they're both straight. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to mark the centre of each of these, clean up the end of these, and then we'll just get on with it really quickly and weld it on. Should we do the front first? I think we'll do the front first. This is how they build WRC cars with iPhone levels. That looks okay. Certainly gotten hot. Right, I'm going to go and do the back now, I think. I'll set the camera up. We'll just go on fast forward with a bit of ambience. Everyone comfortable? Would you like to have a look? It's alright, isn't it? I'm not going to show you the one on the opposite side at the bottom because it's absolute sh. Got a couple of quick bits that I want to put on now. Because I don't want this to go all the way upside down, I'm just going to weld a couple of these. Just a bit of 3mm 1-inch box so that when it comes round it will stop at 90 degrees. That I found on the floor over there. That used to be my seat rail when the car was running, but I didn't have enough 1-inch box, so I just cut it out. The seat rail was pretty dangerous, so I'd already kind of decided that I probably didn't want to sell it to anyone. Seemed happy, didn't it? I'm gonna put away locking it, but I only need to lock it in a few different places. And I've thought of a better way of doing it than putting a big plate on and having a gate lock. All that. So I'm going to, is this going to go in my eye? I think so. Sadly it means drilling through this, which is pretty thick. Need about 20mm in there, so unfortunately it'll probably be the end of one of these Amazon stepper drills. Sad, innit? Air tools always make me feel like Garth from Wayne's World. Got the hole in there. This is the bolt I'm going to use as the kind of lock off, and then I found this big old nut over there. I just burnt the nylon off the end of it. I tried to put a bit of a divot. Can you see that? Probably not. It hasn't worked anyway, but I'll just MIG it rather than TIG it since there's a big gap. Just kind of want to stick it there. Welding masks are one of the only opportunities in life to own something with flames on, so that's why I bought that. handy because normally that always makes something seize whenever you weld something to something else. Give the handle a minute before you use it. Bit George. There we go, that's done. Just the tip, that's enough sometimes. Kind of running out of excuses not to get this on the stand now, I think it's finished. Not gonna hurt, is it? What I'd give for 2 engine cranes right now. Got a sweat on. I don't know if it's heat or fear. That was probably the most unpleasant thing I've ever done in my life. I'm going to tidy the crane and stuff up. Then I'm probably going to think for about 7 hours about turning it on its side. I've had a coffee just to top up the anxiety. So I feel pretty terrible now. I'm not convinced this is a one-man job. Sorry guys, I know you all probably came here to see it go onto its roof, but we've got loads of time. I need to put it both ways and stuff. I'm sure eventually it will go on it. Pivot point's off. It doesn't really matter, does it? I think if anything, I'd counterweight it. I think that's a better way of doing it. So far there's no like Jurassic Park noises. I chucked some grease on my shaft just to make it a bit more comfortable. Right then guys, final update. This is funny, right? I put like a counterweight thing on here, just so it makes it a bit easier to turn over really. I've seen the ones where you can slide it, but I get so nervous about stuff like this that I just want everything to be fixed and welded. It's pretty good now. We can turn it by hand, goes both ways, and I can actually pick it up quite easily, see? There's quite a lot of stuff in there just left over from fabricating things. And because it's quite light now, you can have it in any position and just kind of lock this off and then work on it, which is really nice. So I think we're going to call it a success So that marks the end of the two-parter rollover jig build. Thanks for everyone who kind of helped answer some questions on how they'd done it. Right, I hope you enjoyed watching. See you next time.